A mechanic in Wisconsin just rolled over 900,000 miles on his SUV. Same engine, same transmission, 0 rebuilds. And it's not luck. There are 9 SUVs on the road right now that laugh at the 200,000 mile mark like it's just breaking in. While your neighbor's trading in their 3rd SUV in 10 years, these machines are just getting started. But here's what's wild. One of these SUVs has a cult following so fierce, owners refuse to sell them, even when offered double their value. Another has a failure rate so low, it rewrote what engineers thought was possible. And the last one? It's hiding a secret that even dealerships don't talk about. Stick around, because what you're about to discover will change how you buy your next SUV forever. Number 9. The Chevrolet Tahoe. Let's start with the controversial one. The Chevrolet Tahoe. Yes, a Chevy. Before you scroll away, hear this. The Tahoe's 5.3-liter V8 is one of the most produced engines in automotive history. Over 10 million built. And they've been refining it for 25 years. The result? An engine that routinely hits 300,000 miles in police fleets, taxi services, and family road trips without major failures. But here's the twist nobody talks about. The Tahoe's body-on-frame construction means it's repairable in ways unibody SUVs aren't. Suspension wears out? Swap it in an afternoon. Transmission issues? They're the same units used in millions of GM trucks, so parts are everywhere and cheap. Police departments across America run Tahoes to 200,000 miles as pursuit vehicles. That's high-speed chases, constant idling, and zero sympathy. And they keep running. One owner in Texas used his Tahoe to tow a 7,000-pound trailer 250,000 miles. His biggest repair? A replacement water pump at 80,000 miles. The Tahoe doesn't have Toyota's reputation, but it has something equally valuable: proven durability across millions of real-world miles. But what no one expected was what the next SUV would do to the luxury segment. Number 8. The Lexus RX 350. Number 8 brings us to the SUV your doctor drives for 15 years and then hands down to their kid who drives it for another 10. The Lexus RX 350. Under the hood sits Toyota's 3.5-liter V6, one of the most reliable engines ever built. Paired with an 8-speed transmission that shifts so smoothly, you forget it's there. But here's what separates the RX from everything else in the luxury segment. It's not just reliable, it's effortlessly reliable. No quirks, no "you have to do this specific thing or it breaks" warnings. No forum posts titled "RX owners, you need to read this." It just works. Owners report 200,000 miles with nothing but oil changes, tires, and brakes. Some haven't replaced a single suspension component. Others are still on factory spark plugs at 150,000 miles. One owner in California used his RX 350 as a rideshare vehicle. After 300,000 miles and 5 years of constant driving, his total repair cost was under $2,000. It redefines what luxury ownership costs over a decade. But here's where it gets interesting. Number 7. The Mazda CX-5. At number 7, we have the one nobody expected to be here, the Mazda CX-5. Mazda doesn't have Toyota's reputation, it doesn't have Honda's legacy, but it has something equally powerful: obsession. Mazda's Skyactiv engines were designed with one goal: eliminate every single point of failure. Not reduce, eliminate. The result? A 2.5-liter 4-cylinder that runs so efficiently, so cleanly, that carbon buildup, the plague of modern direct-injection engines, barely exists. But here's the twist. The CX-5 has been named the most reliable compact SUV by Consumer Reports 3 years running. Not just good, the best. Transmission issues? Mazda's 6-speed automatic is one of the smoothest and most durable in the industry. Rust? Mazda's corrosion warranty proves they've finally figured out what went wrong in the 90s. Electrical? The infotainment might not win design awards, but it never breaks. One owner in Michigan drove his CX-5 through 6 brutal winters and hit 200,000 miles with only scheduled maintenance. No surprises, no failures, no drama, just a Mazda that refused to quit. But what no one expected was how Mazda's reliability would quietly creep past brands that cost $20,000 more. And this changes everything. Number 6. The Subaru Outback. Number 6 is the SUV that's technically a wagon, but nobody cares because it refuses to die. The Subaru Outback. This is the vehicle Vermont bought in bulk, the car that Colorado uses as a state uniform, the one that mechanics in the Rust Belt see roll in at 250,000 miles still running on the original head gaskets. Wait, Subaru had a problem in the 2000s. Everyone knows it. But here's what they don't tell you. After 2012, Subaru fixed it. The EJ25 engine's weaknesses were engineered out, and the newer FB25 and especially the FA24 turbocharged engines are built like Swiss watches. Now the Outback does something no other AWD SUV can match. It delivers Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, legendary in snow and rain, while sipping fuel like a sedan and running forever like a diesel. Owners in the Northeast routinely see 300,000 miles with nothing more than timing belt changes and wheel bearings. One driver in Maine hit 400,000 miles delivering mail in blizzards that shut down highways. But here's the kicker. The Outback has the highest owner loyalty rate of any SUV in America. People don't just keep them. They buy another one when the first finally dies, usually 20 years later. But the most shocking part is still ahead. Number 5. The Acura MDX. At number 5, we find the luxury SUV nobody talks about. The Acura MDX. Same Honda engineering, same obsessive testing, but wrapped in leather and silence. The MDX shares a platform with the Honda Pilot and that bulletproof J-Series V6. But Acura added something else, a level of refinement that makes 200,000 miles feel effortless instead of exhausting. Here's what mechanics won't tell you. The MDX is one of the cheapest luxury SUVs to maintain over 10 years. Parts are Honda parts with different labels. Labor is simpler because the engine bay isn't crammed with over-engineered European complexity. And the failure rate, it's statistically invisible. Third-generation MDX owners report virtually zero major issues through 150,000 miles. The most common complaint? The infotainment system feeling dated. Not the engine, not the transmission, not the all-wheel drive system. The screen. That's the bar we're talking about here. But here's where it gets even better. One fleet manager in Colorado ran a dozen MDX models for airport shuttle service. High mileage, constant stop and go, zero maintenance windows. After 5 years and an average of 180,000 miles per vehicle, his total unexpected repair cost across the entire fleet was less than $3,000. That's not reliability. That's witchcraft. Number 4. The Honda Pilot. Number 4 is the one nobody talks about. The Honda Pilot. It doesn't have the off-road cred of the 4Runner. It doesn't wear a luxury badge like the GX. But it has something more valuable, boring reliability. And boring is beautiful when you're staring at a 20-year loan and 3 kids in the back seat. The Pilot's 3.5-liter V6 is derived from Honda's J-Series engine, the same block that powered the Accord for decades without breaking a sweat. It's been refined, tested, and proven across millions of miles in every climate on Earth. Transmission issues. Nearly non-existent after the second generation. Rust problems, rare outside the Salt Belt. Electrical gremlins? Honda's wiring harnesses laugh at that question. But here's the twist no one saw coming. A study of vehicles most likely to reach 200,000 miles ranked the Pilot in the top 5. Not just for SUVs, for all vehicles. It beat luxury sedans, it beat trucks, it beat competitors that cost twice as much. One owner in Texas hit 350,000 miles on original suspension components. His secret? Regular oil changes and ignoring the fear-mongering on internet forums. The Pilot doesn't need drama to prove itself. It just shows up every single day. But what happens when you take legendary off-road capability and add bulletproof reliability? Number 3. The Toyota 4Runner. That brings us to number 3, the Toyota 4Runner. Walk into any mechanic shop and ask them what SUV they'd buy with their own money. 7 out of 10 will say this name without hesitation. Why? Because the 4Runner is built on a body-on-frame platform that was designed for punishment, not pavement. It shares its bones with the Tacoma and the Global Hilux, the same truck that Top Gear tried to kill and couldn't. They drowned it in the ocean. It started. They set it on fire. It started. They dropped a building on it. It still started. That's the lineage we're dealing with. The 4Runner's 4.0-liter V6 is so overbuilt, it's actually detuned from its full potential just to guarantee longevity. And it works. Owners routinely cruise past 300,000 miles with nothing more than fluid changes and brake pads. But here's where it gets interesting. Third-gen 4Runners from the late 90s are selling for more now than they did 5 years ago. Not because they're collectible, because they're still working. Still daily driven, still hauling families to soccer practice and gear to the mountains. And this changes everything about resale value. One owner in Alaska hit 400,000 miles while towing a trailer through winters that freeze diesel fuel solid. His biggest repair? A replacement radiator. That's it. The 4Runner doesn't just survive, it thrives on neglect. But the final one on this list changes everything, because the top two aren't just reliable SUVs, they're automotive legends that redefine what indestructible actually means. One has a cult following so fierce, owners refuse to sell them even when offered double their value. And the other? It's the SUV that makes mechanics shake their heads in disbelief. Number 2, the Toyota Land Cruiser. At number 2, we have the SUV that makes every other vehicle on this list look fragile. The Toyota Land Cruiser. This is the vehicle the United Nations uses in war zones. The SUV that Australian miners trust in the Outback where a breakdown means death. The machine that Top Gear called indestructible, and they weren't exaggerating. The Land Cruiser is overbuilt to a level that makes no financial sense. Toyota loses money on everyone sold, but they don't care. Because the Land Cruiser is a reputation machine. Under the hood sits a 5.7-liter V8 that's designed for 1 million kilometers, not miles. The frame is thicker than it needs to be. The suspension components are sized for vehicles twice as heavy. But here's the secret. Land Cruisers don't just last. They appreciate. 20-year-old models sell for 60% of their original MSRP. 30-year-old FJ60s are collector's items. And the 200 series? It's already becoming a legend while still in production. One owner in Africa drove his Land Cruiser 500,000 miles across terrain that would total a normal SUV in a week. His maintenance? Oil changes and one alternator. That's it. The Land Cruiser doesn't break down. It outlives generations. But even this engineering masterpiece can't match what's at number 1. Number 1. The Lexus GX 460. And now, number 1. The Lexus GX 460. There's a reason you'll see 15-year-old models with 300,000 miles selling for nearly half their original price. This thing doesn't depreciate like a normal vehicle. It depreciates like gold during a recession. Under the luxury badge sits Toyota's legendary 4.7-liter V8 in older models and the bulletproof 4.6-liter V8 in newer ones. The same DNA that powers the Land Cruiser. The same engineering that survived the Australian Outback, African deserts, and Canadian winters without breaking a sweat. But here's the twist. Owners report regular oil changes are basically the only maintenance for the first 200,000 miles. Some haven't touched the suspension. Others are still riding on original alternators at 250,000 miles. One owner in Alaska hit 400,000 miles while towing through winters that kill normal vehicles. His biggest repair? That's it. The GX 460 doesn't just survive, it thrives on neglect. But what no one expected was what happened when Consumer Reports tested long-term reliability across all luxury SUVs. The GX didn't just win. It wasn't even close. This is the SUV that mechanics buy when they retire. The one that holds its value better than a savings account. The machine that proves luxury and reliability aren't opposites. They're partners. 9 SUVs. 9 different philosophies. One shared truth. Buy the right one and you'll never need another. These aren't just vehicles. They're investments that refuse to depreciate, machines that laugh at the 200,000-mile mark, and engineering masterpieces that prove reliability isn't luck, it's design. If this changed how you think about your next SUV, hit that like button. Subscribe for more automotive truth that dealerships won't tell you. Because the right information doesn't just save you money, it saves you from regret.